Hello and welcome to another Last Epoch build. My name is Boba and today I have a fire dragon for you. It's a mage build, it's a sorcerer build. We're running fire nova, fireballs and meteor. It's an all fire build. Before I get into the build, I would like to thank everyone for commenting and liking and subscribing. You guys are awesome and it's really cool to watch the community growth, so thank you all for doing that. As you see, the build is pretty straightforward. It's a bunch of fire damage. It has really good damage. I'm still kind of low level as I level the characters and then start thinking about the next build for you guys. So this one is level 59, but as you see, I have no trouble doing the monoliths. The damage is really good. And yeah, it's a really cool build. It has a lot of ways to scale it. It will increase its damage a lot. So it's a really good build to keep on advancing on it. You can also change a little bit the build if you don't like having two abilities like the Fire Nova here. You could remove this and focus on your Fireball. But you need to get some piercing. I'll get more into it when I start talking about the abilities. But yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty easy to play. You're pretty safe, you're a ranged character. And yeah, that's the build. Okay, so in this build, we're using Teleport, FlameWard, Elemental Nova, Meteor, and Fireball. You don't have to have Elemental Nova on the bar, we're using it with the Teleport. I use it for AoE, but you can change this for focus and just use Fireball all the time. So let's get into Fireball. Fireball, we went for 3 points in travel for winged fire. We went for the extra projectiles, projectiles fire in sequence, and extra projectiles +2. So when I hit fireball, we're firing 4 of them. Then I went for 2 points for cast, it's travel, 3 points fire shred, it's travel, 1 point in homing because we're lazy and fireballs will just aim on their self. And if the first 2 fireballs hit a target and kill it, the second 2 will aim for the other one, so it's good to have the homing. Fire burst, sorry, when you're hit with, here it says 5, but we have -2, so when you hit with 3 fireballs, you will have a blast of fire, making it as if you're hitting 5 times. So you hit with 4 fireballs and 1 fire blast. And then we went for some crit base and we took 1 point here in crit multiplier and lightning damage. That lightning damage is extremely important because it turns the fireball into a lightning spell. I will get into it more when we're looking at the passives, but that lightning tag is extremely important for the fireball. So now this counts as a fire and a lightning spell. Last 2 points, you can either go with piercing if you don't want the elemental nova on your bar, you want to just have fireball to cast, or you can go for the base crit and more base crit, so you're critting way more often. It depends what you want to do. If you like having the elemental nova cast on trash, then you go for crit. If you don't want to have the elemental nova on trash, you just want to use fireball, you go for piercing. You don't need 4 points in piercing because the helmet, there's an affix on it that gives you more piercing, so you'll be fine with 2 points in piercing. So the last 2 points, you're fine. You can get also some pluses to get more piercing or some more crit anyway, but 2 points in piercing is fine if you want to have the 100% pierce. Teleport, basic teleport, we went for the elemental nova when teleporting, and then we went for the copies to have a little bit of tankiness. Last points we go for stable duplicate to increase their duration. Elemental Nova again, Fire Elemental Nova, we went for 40 damage, 40 area, and then we took all this area here. We took the enables fire nova, so it's only fire novas. We took some piercing, we took moving skill for some cost and damage at full health enemies, then armor shred, and we'll go for crit multiplier in the end. If you're gonna remove elemental nova from your bar, so you're gonna have focus here, or you can remove arcane projection and just put the last point in pierce or in crit multiplier, your call. Don't get infernal nova if you want to spec a little bit differently. Infernal nova gives it a cooldown and you won't be able to cast it on teleport. Okay, FlameWard, we went for the fire increase damage, obviously, 250% fire increase, that's a lot. Then we went for less hit and elemental damage taken. Last points, we're gonna go for fire damage, so more damage. Or you could go for more ward, it depends on your game choice, but fire damage is good if you want more damage. Ward granted is good if you want more survivability, your call. Meteor, we want Craterborn here, that gives us, when you cast it, it gives us more fire damage. So if you see the fireball is hitting for 34,886, if we cast a Meteor, it's gonna hit for 53. So it increases our damage by a lot. And we went for the portion of mana back, so when we cast Meteor, we're gonna get mana back. All the rest is whatever. I'm just going for larger Meteor and crit, and then I'm going for crit multiplier. But you don't need anything, you just want Craterborn and Aftermath. This is not our main damage. Again, when our Meteor is hitting for 34, if we do everything, it will hit for 70. And my gear is pretty meh, really. It's still the first gloves you get, and the rest is pretty not good. I just have some fire damage here. The gear wise, it's really not good. I just leveled this character, didn't have time to get the gear, so his damage comes from himself. Anyway, talents. Talent page, we went for intellect, some health and mana, we went for cast speed, and 5 points in crit and crit multiplier. Eventually I will come back and get 10 points in this, so it's only 20 points, so I can spec in Sorcerer, but once at some point I'll come back and get 5 more points here, because crit and crit multiplier is really good. Sorcerer, we went for spell crit, sorry, increased cost from arcane momentum, intelligence, 1 point in fire damage, we don't really need a lot of points here, 5 points in fire penetration and fire damage leech. This is really good, it gives us a lot of health leech. I've only put 1 point here because I still don't have a lot of points, so I'm putting 1 point. This you need to max it eventually, get 10 points. 8 points in more crit. I only have 2 points in crit multiplier, but you need to get 5 points here. I started adding points where we need to get, so you guys will know. Adaptive spell damage is really good. And we get Dragon Mage, and we get Mirror Breath. This is why the lightning tag on Fireball is really good. As you see, it has a lightning tag, and where was I? What Dragon Mage does is when you cast increased fire damage from cold skills. So when I use a cold skill, my fire damage will increase. If you take Mirror Breath, when you use a lightning damage, your fire damage will increase. So if I cast Meteor, and look at this, it's 34, now it's 41. Why? Because this counts as a lightning spell. And since we have Mirror Breath, lightning spells give us more fire damage. So Meteor, so Fireball is giving us more fire damage when we cast it, because it's a lightning spell. And obviously the more points we put here, we need to max this. Dragon Mage is gonna give us 100% extra fire damage because we're to Fireball, because we're casting Fireball. Yeah, it's a really great build. I highly recommend it. It's really nice. I had a blast with it. And yeah, that's it. So try this build out good luck, and as always, any question you can leave in the comments.